Today we're going to be looking at close reading and what that means and what it is. And so let's just dive right into this. What is close reading? Think of yourself like a detective. Now there are a lot of different lenses, like the lens you see on the image where it's zooming in on certain letters. And that's kind of what I want you to think of close reading as. It's zooming in. And that's fantastic. But there are different ways we can zoom in, different lenses we could put into the magnifying glass or a microscope, because sometimes we go really in. But we can do different lenses. We could use a feminist perspective, which is a female perspective, right? We can do a biographical reading, which is about the author's life and how that influenced the work. We could use a historical reading, which is about the time the story is set. Okay, now there's a whole bunch more. There's so many more. But let's just keep going. Okay, so this is just a quick little thing. I'm going to kind of show you how this can work. So this is a poem. I'm going to read it, and then we're going to talk about it just a little bit. Remember me. When I am gone away, gone far away into the silent land, when you can no more hold me by the hand, nor I, half turn to go, yet turning stay, remember me. When no more day by day you tell me of your future that you planned, only remember me, you understand. It will be late to counsel then or pray. Yet, if you should forget me for a while and afterwards remember, do not grieve. For if the darkness and corruption leave a visage of the thoughts that once I had, better by far that you should forget and smile than that you should remember and be sad. So I want you to think about this. There's lots of things we could say about this poem. First, you could say it's a sonnet, and it is. You could say it's an Italian sonnet, and that's also true. But close reading is more than just saying what it's all about. What if we tried to say something else? The poem is called Remember Me. Does the author want us to remember her? And this is a little trickier, right? Because it seems like at the beginning it's pretty explicit. Remember me when I am gone away. That's it. But the ending doesn't feel so sure. It ends with, better by far you should forget and smile than that you should remember and be sad. This feels complicated when we zoomed in. Complicated. But if we zoom in, we can see how it changes. How the person was sure of what they wanted, and after thinking about it, changed their opinion to clarify what they now believe. The story is a journey, and so every line is a snapshot of a different perspective. Let's think about the story we are reading. On page 172, and you can turn to it if you want, this is one of Holden's lines, just one sentence. And the quote is actually a quote. He is saying this. I said no. There wouldn't be marvelous places to go to after I went to college and all. That's a great line. But let's zoom in. So, we know who he's talking to. He's talking to old Sally. They're talking about the future. And she wants to postpone but not deny his future plan. Just after certain things, like college. Why does he say these marvelous places, that they won't exist? Why that wording? And asking these questions is what close reading is all about. We can zoom out to give you whole themes of the story, but right now, there is this line. Because he doesn't say, I wouldn't want to go, or we'd be different people. He says, there wouldn't be marvelous places. It's such an odd way to say it. Let's just think a little bit about why would the marvelous places be gone? Is it just perspective? Or can we read a little bit deeper into this? Now, I'm doing this one for you, but be prepared. You're going to have to do a little bit more work on the next one. Okay, so we know J.D. Salinger, the author of this book, the one who wrote this line, survived and fought during World War II. And this isn't very many years afterwards that he would have been writing this. He would have known about places that were destroyed without much notice. Places you could have planned to go to, but now you can't. Maybe marvelous places aren't forever. And maybe, remember, here, let me flip back. Remember how I talked about the different types of readings? Maybe it's a biographical reading that we should be thinking. Maybe the author is saying, I know of places that were once marvelous that aren't anymore. Things aren't forever. Well, that's kind of an interesting way to read it. And that's just, there's different ways to read it. But I'm just giving you one clean example. Now, this is the very next line. He's still talking to the same person on the same topic. Open your ears. It'd be entirely different. We'd have to go downstairs in elevators with suitcases and stuff. Okay, so there's a lot of questions. But I don't want to answer them this time, okay? I want each of you, as just a little activity, to write down the line and what you think. Why did he say it that way? Why open your ears? Why not, can you listen? He said it that way for a reason. Either Holden Caulfield said it that way for a reason, or J.D. Salinger said it that way for a reason. But it wasn't an accident. Okay? Now, again, here are some of the ways we can look at it. We could think about it from a feminist perspective. From the female perspective, we can look at it biographical. If you think this has to do with J.D. Salinger's life, go ahead. And remember, there's more than just those three words. There's this entire line that I've offered you. Historical. Why are they going down stairs and in elevators with suitcases in the first place? What are they talking about here? What is he trying to convince her of? And I want you to know one more thing, because we can really focus on this line, but this line could be any line in the book. Right now, I want you to look at this line, but close reading is about looking at a lot of lines like this and starting to understand characters deeper, plots and themes deeper. All right, you've got work to do.